We are going to talk about the fallacy of the miserable artist while we draw delicious things to eat. So, obviously eating hamburgers and chocolate brownies is all but it's not miserable. It's super fun. And being an artist, as even a professional artist, is just as good as eating this hamburger and eating this brownie. It's better, actually. So while we draw this, I'm going to work in oil pastel, crayons. Alannah, is going to work in dry pastel.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it? Dry pastel, chalk pastel?
Soft pastel.
Soft
chalk
pastel.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this hamburger that I've pre-drawn because it's going to take me a while and I needed to, cheat. And Alannah, she's just going for it. You're going to block in or something.
I'm thinking I might do a loose sketch, but mainly block it in with the pastels.
So we're going to be drawing and talking, and we have a live chat here. So Tanner, do you want to say hello?
Hello. I am here and super excited. I'm already hungry looking at your guys' sources.
Yeah. So Tanner can answer your questions and sort of facilitate that chat. So feel free to tell us where you're watching from. And while we draw these, I'm going to get started. While we draw these, we are going to also be talking about Steven Pressfield's claim on page 68 of The War of Art, the book that he wrote, The War of Art, addressing this idea of an artist has to learn how to be miserable. Because as soon as you commit your life to being an artist, you've signed up for hell. That is literally a quote. So I love Steven Pressfield, and I actually love that book because there's so many great things in that book. But that particular page, I totally disagree with, and I think it's rubbish. So we're going to be talking about that. Rubbish.
You said rubbish.
I know, because I've been hanging out with you.
Yeah.
Not that Alannah is rubbish. In fact, we should introduce ourselves.
Yes. Okay, I'll go first because you know who Elli is.
They might not.
My name's Alannah Anderson, and I'm an artist, and I also work with Milan Art with Elli, and I have been experimenting with soft pastels recently, and so that is why I chose this medium today. And yeah.
And she's the reason I chose this medium because it's oil pastel, which is different. So if in case you're new to this channel, my name is Elli Milan. I've been a professional artist for the last 30 years. And I'm also the founder of Milan Art Institute. And I started the school with a passion to help artists make a full-time living selling their art. So that's what I feel very driven to do, to help artists get free and be able to create full-time if they want and make a living out of it and change the world with their art. So that's what I'm really committed to. And so that's why I recommend Steven Pressfield's book, The War of Art, to so many artists because it really helps artists, build a work ethic and realize it takes a lot of work, a lot of time behind the brush, a lot of time drawing, painting, to master their skills. And there's this incredible amount of resistance that really works against you in creating artwork, because let's face it, eating hot Cheetos and drinking a Corona on the couch is a piece of cake for me. I could do that anytime, any day.
Or a hamburger, or a cake.
Or a brownie, yeah. Like, that's easy. There's nothing stopping me. I have to will myself to not eat hamburgers, eat pizza, drink beer, and do the right thing. So exercise, eating right, waking up early, doing your art, writing a poem, journaling every day, connecting with God, like all those things that are virtuous and great are, we fight through resistance to be able to do them. There's something out there trying to stop us from doing that. And we often encounter some self-sabotage even. So that's basically what his book about. So the general premise of the book I really love, and I've recommended it. But then recently, an artist friend pointed out that page 68 that basically says, you know, if you're going to be an artist, count on being miserable. I'm like, what? No, I've been a professional artist for 30 years, and it's the joy of my life. I'm not miserable at all. Whether I'm drawing a hamburger, most of the artists I know love it. So I don't know.
Well, I was thinking about it, and I think like that statement is really bold, but like so untrue. If you're an artist, like you can't, I mean, you probably can, but I don't know how you can create from a place in misery. So I feel like creativity comes from a place of joy and
freedom
and something that you love, not something that you loathe. So I thought that was a kind of a fallacy to say that you're signing up for misery if you're an artist.
Yeah, I agree. So Alannah, do you want to tell everybody just process-wise, like how are you going about your brownie here?
So there are a couple of different ways that you can start with a pastel drawing like this. Soft pastels layer really easily. So you can just go straight in and block the shapes, but I thought I would like to try and end in an hour with something fairly accurate, and you can push and pull with just starting with blocking in, but I'm basically going to start by putting in my darks as I see them. And then because my paper, my surface is really cool surface, by the way. We've just tested this out. It's kind of got a velvety texture. It's not sanded paper. It's kind of like more like velvet. It's a mid-tone, so I'm going to put my darks in, and then I'm going to find my lightest lights, and then I'm going to work in the mid-tones and then start to try and fine-tune it.
Yeah, I just realized I'm supposed to do that too. And I did start with the darks, but then now I've started adding midtones, so I gotta stop. Yeah, so I'm using oil pastel, or these crayons, and I'm trying to block in the darks, and this paper is fascinating. I've never used it before. It's my first time. And it reminds me of the Velvet Elvis. You remember those velvet paintings that you did when you were a kid?
Yeah, it feels like fabric.
Yeah, well, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's also good with soft pastels. I did a little test on it right before this, but you don't have a lot of the dust fall out of it, so it's not collecting in a spot. But I'm also, as part of the process, you want to start very light-handed. You don't want to go in too heavy because there is a limit to how much it's going to take. So I want to just build the layers up lightly as I go.
Yeah.
I want to know what everyone else feels about the topic. Being an artist signs you up to be miserable, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so tell us in the chat what your thoughts are on that, and what sort of misery, if any, that you experience as an artist. Do you get blocked, and it's makes you cry and frustrated, and have a hard time getting out of it, or what are some other things that might cause? Maybe you've faced rejection and scorn and discouragement. Maybe that's something that you've struggled with. What are some other causes of misery in art? I think just maybe the frustration of not succeeding with it when that's your heart's desire and you just can't seem to get a break and it just feels so frustrating. That could be a cause. For me, if I were to think about any misery I've had as an artist, of course I've experienced all of that. I've been rejected, I've been scorned, I've, faced humiliation, I've, had difficulties for sure. But I also feel like a way more miserable thing that I have faced and felt in my life has been working at a job that I hated, that meant nothing to me other than to get, a paycheck. So that I think is, the real misery that I've faced. Feeling frustrated that I'm watching time kind of go by, and I haven't done what I care about most. So back in the old days when I had a job, I worked at a bank, I waited tables, I worked at a convenience store at I had to go there at 5 a.m. And stock shelves and give biscuits to construction workers. That was miserable, and just coming home at noon after a shift with the smell of biscuits on me and fried chicken. And, it was one of those convenience stores in Georgia that has everything. And there's people that eat 3 meals a day there. So that was miserable. That was not, what I wanted to do with my life. And I felt frustrated to that, every hour that ticked by and, was gone forever. I wasn't painting, I wasn't creating, I wasn't living out my destiny. And nothing I've experienced as an artist, no matter what the rejection is or, issues I've faced can compare to that misery. So that's why I'm not on board with what, our friend Steven has to say.
Yeah, Savannah in the chat said, being an artist is what takes me out of my misery. The only time I'm miserable is when I can't be in my studio.
Yes. Well, and maybe Steven he's a writer. He's not a painter. So maybe as visual artists or as fine artists, so if there's a writer in the chat, I would love to hear from you. I wouldn't call myself a writer, but I do write because I write a blog and I wrote a book. And writing the book was first draft, just like painting, super joyful. It just fell out of me. I mean, I didn't, struggle at all. But that is not always true because when I write this blog every week, most weeks I have writer's block, and I have this pressure that I have to put out this blog, and I'm scouring my life for a new story or something to write about, and it is pretty miserable because I'm super stressed out trying to think of what is it I want to write about, and some weeks are better than others. And once I get the idea and I'm going and I'm writing, then it's fun. It's joy again, and I enjoy writing. But getting to that point is really sometimes very difficult. So maybe that's the issue, is that painting is joyful and fun, and you're like a kid again, right? But
yeah, I was going to say, before I really gained some skills, I would find art frustrating because I wasn't where I wanted to be with my art. But understanding, developing your process and understanding how to create an image and having practice and all of that makes it more joyful for sure. And I had a creative job in my last job. I had a creative job and found myself in a really miserable place, and I couldn't access creativity. So I can kind of identify with like feeling miserable and not being able to produce, because I really think like the best work, the most genuine, authentic work comes from a place of joy and a place where you feel free. So you're almost not thinking in the process, if that makes sense. It's just something that you're in a flow with when it feels so good when you're creating art.
Yeah. Yes.
Someone in the chat said, creating art gives me so much joy, but I do occasionally feel disappointment when family or friends seem disinterested in my work or have no comments or encouraging words. I feel like that's a big part of it too, is if you don't have a community, that can kind of foster a feeling of relating miserable and artists together.
Totally. Yeah, having people around you that believe in you, encourage you, you know, and having like a drive or a focus for your art. Like, you know, when you are, you know, in that professional zone, I think all the misery kind of goes away because there's a focus for it. You're painting a commission. You're getting ready for a gallery show. You're getting, you know, a series together with an aim and a purpose. Continually, you're getting that vitamin of and that jolt of joy when you see the collector, you know, is moved by what you created. You know, when you have an art show and you sell like 4 pieces in one night, and you're like, wow, I can't believe people spent $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a painting, and you're just like, wow, this feels so great. There's really no bigger high, and so when you get to experience the success on a consistent basis, then whatever little disappointment that you have, you don't get into a show, the commission that you thought was going to pan out, you know, didn't. Whatever it might be, you're like, you know, okay with it. You can, life goes on. And so I think that, oops, I got too many crayons in my hands. I think that, you know, that's a real definite definite point, you know, that success breeds success, and you just have to get to that point where you are finding success, you are selling your work, and so all of the self-doubts, all of the, you know, painful things about creating an art kind of go away, and or at least they're minimized, and then it's like extra joyful.
Yeah, it seems like what a lot of people seem to struggle with is the burnout, or like when you're first starting art, you know, you're typically working another job, so that takes so much of your energy. Alexa in the chat's wondering if you have any advice for doing art or the master program while working a full-time job.
Yeah, it's not, you know, always easy, but I think seeing the plan come to fruition and you realizing, wow, this is how I'm going to get out of my job. This is really going to work. This is how I beat it. This is how I'm going to make it. I think all of those, you know, sort of revelations that come as you take the mastery program get you through, because it will require, you know, focus and putting a lot of energy into it, while maintaining a job and managing to get yourself there so you can pay the bills. And I think just having a goal and an end point and knowing, you know, like one of our mentors, Tanya Abu, She was working full-time in a grocery store, and she hated every minute of it. She did not enjoy working at a grocery store, and she wanted out of her job. She wanted to be a full-time artist, and she was in the mastery program. And being in the mastery program and even selling artwork as she went through the mastery program, even from the first couple weeks, being able to sell her assignments that she was doing, really gave her that jolt of belief that she needed to make it through. So I think there's like beautiful, wonderful opportunities for those types of little kisses from heaven or blessings along the way that will get you through. But in a way, you have to work twice as hard. But what is the alternative? That's misery. The alternative is what is misery. And that's like basically not being able to do what you love most on a regular basis, full time, and continuing to have this, full-time job at something that isn't your favorite and it's not what you really want to do with your life. And every year that goes by, those are how many paintings unpainted. And when is it going to end? When are you going to, take that leap of faith and change it forever? And, be your biggest hero to yourself. And I think that's a question for everybody to answer if you really do want to be a full-time artist. And it isn't easy, but I think there's enough motivation and good things that happen along the way that you'll stay motivated. So practical advice, I would say make a schedule and stick to it, to help you manage your time. And I think that when you're excited about what you're doing, even though you have a job that you have to go to, is very, you're not going to get burnout. That is not going to happen. I don't feel like I'm sticking to the plan of midtones. I'm kind of falling into some funny habits here.
It's quite a radical hamburger.
Radical hamburger.
I don't know, that's the first word that came to my mind.
Yeah, I gotta just, keep on trucking here. Yours already looks like a done dessert.
No, there's no details. It's just all blocks.
Sorry.
I feel like I can't get too detailed.
Some people in the chat were wondering if Steven Pressfield's statement means, since the life of a creative is a bunch of highs and lows, that he meant that you have to learn how to deal with the misery because it's a little inevitable, or I don't know. I guess maybe what he means is just being able to get through the valleys so that you can get the peaks. Maybe, I don't know.
The statement's pretty clear. It's like,
Yeah.
if you do this, you're going to be miserable.
Yeah, he equates it to being a Marine and the military, and he was saying that the Marines over Air Force, Navy, and Army pride themselves on being the most miserable. The more deaths happen at the front line if you're a Marine. You eat the worst food. You have the hardest boot camp to go through, and they pride themselves, and they call all the other, I mean, this is what he says in the book. If this is wrong information and you're a Marine, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
But I haven't ever been in the Marines, so I don't know. But basically the Marines, he was saying, because he was a Marine, they talk almost bad about the other branches of the military like they're wusses. They don't have it nearly as hard. And they pride themselves on being able to handle the misery of it all. And so he was basically saying artists need to be like the Marines and realize that, and he a quote basically is, becoming an artist, being an artist, living your life as an artist is war. And if you sign up and you enlist yourself for that life, it is hell. He used that word. He literally said, if you enlist your life as an artist, it is hell. And he says, be ready to live on a steady diet of humiliation, contempt, isolation. He has a whole long list. Despair. And I'm like, when does that happen? You know, I mean, I've had a little rejection, okay, but life's full of that. I mean,
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like anything you do.
yeah, I mean, try dating or whatever. I mean, you're going to be rejected. I mean, I don't know, be around a bunch of little kids. They reject you. At least they reject me. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a kid magnet. My husband is a kid magnet. So they always just go right past me and go right to my husband. So I think I'm too intense for children. But anyway, I'm just saying life has some rejection in it. Anybody who has relatives, anybody who has friends, you know, it's what happens. So I don't know. I just can't fully embrace page 68 of The War of Art.
It just seems like a weird perspective to have.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, I mean, yeah, in life you go through trials and tribulations, but I don't know. I feel like you don't have to view your life as a war zone.
No. I think being, you know, if you want to be a professional artist and you have like big aspirations like I do of changing the world with art, that's a war. Sure, that's a war. But the war isn't in me. The war is, it's a culture shift. You're a culture warrior. You artists naturally are confronting status quo. That's really what you are as an artist. Like somebody walks into a gallery in a certain mood in a certain space, and then they have an encounter with your art. Boom, a shift of status quo. That's an act of warfare in a way, if you want to see it that way. You could also see it as that's an act of poetry, and you're, you know, enlightening somebody. There's a million ways you can approach it, and I think based on your personality, or you know, if you're the warrior type, and you're like, you know, that hardcoreness really drives me. You'll see that as an act of war, and it, in a good way, obviously, you know. But if you're a lover and a poet, you're going to see it in that way, and that's the metaphor that you're going to kind of align with. And so we're all different, but it's like the whole book about like basically this resistance. The whole book is about overcoming resistance. But at some point, a professional artist knows it doesn't really face resistance anymore. It's like you beat it. And there really isn't. Maybe there's a low-grade resistance out there, but it's like a little yappy chihuahua. It's not like a fierce dragon that you're dealing with anymore. So I just feel like the misery, if there is any, is very short-lived. And what is truly miserable is not living out your destiny. An unfulfilled destiny is misery. And everybody knows it, you know? And so I want to rewrite. I want, or just, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I disagree.
Why do you think there is this, because there is this kind of almost romanticization of like art and suffering and, you know, from pain comes the true art. Or whatever.
And Tanner, when you went to art school, did you hear like the professors like talking about that, going on and on about that?
Not really.
Oh,
I know,
I
I'm
did.
Sorry.
I did. I definitely did.
Well, you took way more fine art classes than I ever did. I don't
Yeah,
know if
you
think-
were in like a vocation.
I was in film. I took film classes mostly,
Yeah.
so.
Well,
But I mean, no, that sentiment is actually kind of shared too. Even in the film department, it is like there's this kind of like the struggling indie filmmaker,
Yeah.
And you can see that in the fine
nobody
arts too.
appreciates what you have to offer, and
Yeah, but that's like this is this obscure film that's filmed in complete darkness.
instead of those sellouts in Hollywood.
Yeah. So why is that? Why do you think there is that romanticization? I can't say that word.
I blame Van Gogh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it maybe is displaced heroism. There's a kind of romantic hero feeling that if you choose art in spite of the misery and isolation and whatever, and then there's like kind of a almost unspoken excuse or cause or reason that isn't you for a lack of success. I think
Yeah.
artists have this. I know I did. So you can tell me in the chat if you think this is prevalent. I know at one point I felt like somewhere out there's this silver bullet. There's somebody who is going to discover me and be my savior and bring me to the top. And all I have to do is paint when I feel like, how I feel like. And because I'm just, discovered and so dang talented, then I have it made. But I gotta get discovered. It's luck. It's really luck. It's a combination of luck and talent. And that never happens. There's nobody coming to save you. And so as soon as I realized it's really up to me and it's work and it's dedication and it's commitment and it's consistency, just like anything else, I started to see all kinds of success, and it just kept piling up. And that was very empowering, that shift of mindset. But likewise, I think people think that if you aren't successful as an artist, you make one or two paintings and you're not, discovered, then it's not your fault. It's not really having anything to do with your work ethic or your commitment or your dedication. It has everything to do with the gatekeepers and those, those people out there that choose others but not you, and it's really not your fault. And so then that's when the misery kind of takes root. And like Alannah said, it's very difficult to create in misery.
Yeah.
I'm totally in a zone here. Forgot we were live. Sorry. It's definitely very mushy. I think this paper is better for oil pastel.
Yeah. It's not mushy. It looks good. Maybe you just need to, I don't know, take a break, or I don't know.
Just keep trucking along.
Keep trucking along.
Denise said in the chat, you gotta just have the go for it mindset and stay with it.
Yeah.
And that is true. And I also think focusing so much on the misery of artists, it's really just...
Inviting misery.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, it's like, yeah, you can some beautiful, great art can be made from, your traumas, your tribulations, the things you've gone through, but also great art can be made from like happy things.
Yeah.
Like joy can also create really good art too.
And that's what people want on their wall. They want to be inspired and uplifted and...
Not reminded of their own pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys have any questions about anything that we're doing here or anything at all,
Someone did ask if you can do oil paint over soft pastels.
yeah, you can. I do it all the time.
Okay. I've not tried it.
you have to spray it. It has to be nailed down. Otherwise, it makes your oil paint muddy. I've used pan pastels.
Oh, I've used pan pastels for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like something that's heavily layered up though, like this. Maybe like an underpainting that's very blocky and thin. I wouldn't want to try and fix something super thick and then paint over it. Kind of seems counterintuitive.
Yeah.
To me anyway.
But if part of it is like thick like that, and then the other part, but it definitely works. Sometimes that's how I start a painting, is I use pan pastels and I block in, what I want. I just use it for blocking in. It's a really fast way to block in, and it kind of changes things up. In the end, it doesn't look any different. I cover everything up with oil, but it's like, instead of doing acrylic as an underpainting, I always end up with a million crayons in my hands. So yeah, I'll start with pan pastel, and then that will give me, instead of acrylic, a nice, quick, fast start.
Oh, Alexa has an interesting question. She said, what do you do with a strong sense of purpose, but feel confused about what to paint or what you want to say as an artist?
Oh, that's great. Well, I would say as long as you've got like all your skills there, like you're not limited in what you can paint. So in other words, you're making choices from a position of strength instead of weakness, like a lack of skill. Like, oh, I really want to paint a waterfall, but ooh, that's really hard. I'll just paint, a woman sitting on a rock, whatever. So then as long as you got all the skills so that you really are open to painting anything, then I would just be motivated by aesthetic. What do you really want to paint and love to paint, even if it's a hamburger? And then your message will automatically come through. I think your message is stronger even when you aren't fully aware of it when you are painting it. If you have an idea and you know what you want to paint exactly, and this means this and this means that, and this is a symbol for this and this is a symbol for that, and A plus B plus C equals Z, and it's kind of this like cognitive riddle, then I think it really weakens the art, and you're basically just illustrating an idea. And Elli ideas are not so great, and so I don't really want to illustrate my ideas. What I want to do is kind of be a conduit, and just like from that place of inner need of what I desire to paint, because I'm tantalized by the glowing red and the glistening red and that's why I wanted to do this hamburger, is because when I saw this turquoise and the red, that always gets me. I think it's like a Wonder Woman thing or a Superman thing, I don't know, but whenever I see this kind of combination of red and blue, I am really excited. And the first thing that popped into my head yesterday, the day before, when I was thinking about this, was a hamburger. A big juicy hamburger, cheeseburger with melting cheese, and maybe I was hungry. And so I don't know if this hamburger means anything, but you know what? Everything that's inside of me that's about like, purpose and destiny and the causes that I care about and what is, it's here, it's recorded in what I'm doing. It's recorded in the marks I'm making. I can't stop it, and neither can then your message will come through. Imagine a hose with a kink in it. Is that what you call it? Mm-hmm. Okay. So imagine a hose that's like, got a kink in it. The water just, doesn't come out, or it just trickles out. But imagine there's no kink in the hose. It just flows. The water just flows out. So not having skill, not really knowing your processes or how you want to lay down paint, being kind of cumbersome with it and awkward with it, that's a kink in your hose. But if you eliminate those, it'll just flow. Your message will flow. It can't help it. So all those things that you care about, and that you dream about and that's important to you will come right out.
So April said, Alannah's looks better than the photo.
Oh,
Ooh,
really?
there you go.
Oh, I can't tell because I'm so close to it. So
No,
thank you.
Both of yours are looking really good. I'm so hungry.
Same.
My problem is I'm not, I need to, what do you call it? Not finish things. I need to like get everything in, like just color it in.
One thing I will say about working with pastels like this, it's helped me to not care so much about the details too quickly, because you can break them into little squares and then treat them like a paintbrush and just sort of block in shapes with the side of it, treat it like a paintbrush. So it's been a really fun process learning with it. At first I didn't love it, because I couldn't quite figure out like the method. So I think if you wanted to try it, definitely look for starting on some sort of mid-tone ground is better than white, in my opinion. It's just easier.
Oh, yeah.
And then looking for your darks first, then look for the highlights, then work with the midtones. That has made it a lot easier, and not sort of trying to blend everything together, because then it can get muddy, just like painting. It's better to let the colours blend as you layer them on top of each other, rather than sort of smush it all together, because then all the pigment just gets dull. Yeah.
Good tips.
If someone's, Agabo Victor's wondering if you have any advice for someone who wants to be an artist in an environment where that is not generally accepted.
Oh, that's hard. Maybe you are in a war. You know, I don't think you'll be miserable. I think you'll be exceedingly proud of yourself that you, I mean, I can relate to that a little bit because my dad is Greek, and he's okay with a woman, a girl, his daughter being an artist, because I could just play with my colors, you know, while my husband make the money. But as soon as I married an artist, that's when all hell broke loose. And so I, you know, I had to beat the odds by being married to an artist in my dad's eyes. And so I just got to the point where I was like, this is my life. It's not his life. And I am going to do what I want to do. And I'm going to marry who I want to marry. And I don't really care what he thinks or I mean, I do care, but not enough to change what I was doing. And I think ultimately that's the place you got to get to, is where you just know, well, they're not going to support me. It's not going to be a supportive endeavor, and all the more motivation to prove them wrong. Don't you dare let them be right. That's what I would say. Don't you dare let them be right. And just go out there and make it happen with everything you got, everything you got. There's no, you just burn the boats, you know, you just burn the boats, and you're just going to do it. There's no negotiating it. There's no plan B.
That keeps happening.
My gosh, it's crazy how fast you guys are getting this done.
Well, I wonder if do you think soft pastels are faster than?
I think so. I think
That's
'cause
my
you can, like,
excuse.
block
I'm
an
hanging my hat
area
on it.
easier. I don't think you can block an area as easily with oils, pastels.
Yeah.
Which do y'all prefer? Do either of you have a preference for one or the other?
Oh, I have more experience with, you know, I haven't used soft pastels as a finished thing. I've only done it as like a mixed media thing. So I feel like for me, I have done oil pastel as just like a drawing, you know, pretty, you know, quite a bit. So I feel more comfortable as a finished thing with oil pastel. What about you, Alannah?
I haven't played a whole lot with oil pastel. I kind of feel like I can maybe do more with it.
It's closer to oil. It's more
Yeah.
robust. It's more my personality. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's very like high contrasty and juicy and, you know, and what you see is what you get more.
Yeah. I think it's, well, I don't know if this is true or not. If you have more experience with, I don't know how much like layering you can do with it. Do they kind of blend together, or do you kind of have
This
to rely
paper,
on the
you
pigment?
can layer a lot because it's, you know,
I like how like it's blocks of color, but they're all like rendering as a shiny object.
yeah, and the cool thing about the oil pastel is it's closer to like painting, I feel like, where you're not, you know, you're working with illusion. Well, I mean, soft pastel too.
I feel like this is like painting because you,
Yeah, because it's like brush strokes. They're both like
Yeah.
that.
Someone said, how many pastels can Ellie hold at once?
I know, I keep doing it. Every time I get a color, I just shove it into this hand.
I do that when I'm sitting like at my easel and I have paper on a board. I've got like 5 in my hand and then there's like 6 in front of me and I'm like, so I've been trying to put them, well, I was keeping them in color groups and then like it's all over the place. I feel like you can't be worried about that stuff. It messes with your flow. It's like,
Well, until your fist can't hold them anymore.
yeah.
Oh, someone's asking an interesting question. She said she's about to start the voice section in the mastery program. And she's wondering, would you recommend taking a social media break to avoid comparison or being influenced by other artists?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
I would say no.
Yeah.
Like in the voice section, you're searching for what resonates with you. Looking at other people's art is a good thing. And like to see what you're attracted to, identifying what excites you in different imagery. And I was going to say earlier too, the voice section is so valuable in the mastery program because it's really about helping you to identify what makes you feel joy when you create. And not every medium is going to make you feel joy. Not every approach and process is going to make you feel joy. It might frustrate you, like certain methods of creating a painting might be frustrating, and then you'll try a different method and be like, yes, I feel alive. And when you've got that freedom and you feel excited to paint, then you're going to be way more consistent as well. So I'm excited for you going into the voice section. It's such a exciting time.
Totally.
What would you say then to the people, because I think that is kind of a common fear and sentiment people have, is like, I don't want to copy anyone. I don't want to, you know, they think it's bad if someone influences me.
I think you have to emulate certain things for a while until it, you know, you find your own way. A lot of master painters would copy, like old masters would copy the way they paint to start to learn how to, you know, get more skill. So I think it's fine to not like completely copy someone, but in the voice section you learn to find a lot of different styles and look at a lot of different type of art. You're not just choosing one artist that you love and copying them.
Yeah. And it is impossible to copy somebody long-term intent unless
and
sustain it, even when it's totally intentional. I know, I'm not going to say who, but I know, and it's really nobody in our community anymore, but I know somebody that actively, on purpose, copied Dimitra for a very, very, very long time. And even she could not sustain it and broke away and is either copying somebody else or came up with something totally original. So you cannot sustain it. It is impossible, even when you do it on purpose. And most of the time, we don't do it on purpose. We're in our process or our evolution is a good way to say it. And it's short-lived, really, that whole emulation stage.
I don't think that you should let anything hold you back from creating. So if it's inspiring and you want to try it, I wouldn't let it stop you.
And there's such a shame and whatever, and not in all cultures, but in American culture particularly, of copying. It's like, oh, how terrible of you to copy. But, I think long term, you're not going to be respected as an artist, but as a learning process, by learning and finding your way, it's through emulation. And look at history. Picasso copied George Braque. Everybody thinks Picasso came up with Cubism, but it wasn't. It was George Braque. So it's just that Picasso was the one that, sort of got famous for it. And that happens all throughout history. If you look at movements, they all copied each other. You can hardly tell within a movement one artist from the next. So, we need to get over, I don't think it's a good idea, like I said, to copy somebody intentionally and then make it as if it is your own and not even admitting that you're influenced by somebody. That's stealing, that's wrong. But I think we also have to get over all this shame about emulation and, the art schools in Ukraine, because I used to volunteer and teach at those throughout the year, and they copy the masters as a form of education. So.
Yeah, and Sari said in the chat, the old masters used to train their students by having them copy. It's a great way to learn.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say before, but couldn't find the right words.
You did say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it good. Okay, slowly, but surely, my hamburger.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, some said they were surprised how many colors you've used in it, but that's how you do it, baby.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, toast the bun's blue?
I never, ever draw food. Ever.
Really?
It's kind of fun.
Yes, you do.
You
In
should
Outstanding
start.
Artist, you did.
Oh. Yeah, badly. I did
Tell everybody about how you had a meltdown in Outstanding Artist. So if you haven't watched season 2 of Outstanding Artist, that's where you can see Alannah's meltdown.
I can't remember the... Okay, it started out...
Was that misery? Was that miserable?
That day was... It started out, right? I think it was 7 a.m. and the challenge was... I'm not going to name the brand or anything, but we had to make a little... We had to form, was it 3 teams or 2 teams? I think it was 2
3.
3.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was all of us, 12 contestants, and we had to split up, and I think it was 7 a.m. and we had to start at 7 a.m. and we were hunched around the table with a little kind of like it's like a puzzle, little paint by numbers, but with little diamond things.
Oh gosh. I can't believe we made you guys do that.
And people have morning breath. And we were tired from the previous day. And we sat, I think it was like 4 hours, and like we all got really sore backs and whatever. Anyway, that's how it started. And then we had another challenge in the afternoon, and I was just not feeling great. I wasn't in my happy place. And this is kind of when I turned though, like in the season, like I was able to get a hold of my negative thought patterns and all sorts of stuff that was kind of holding me back. And anyway, it was after that that I had a big turning point. And we had to do kitchen art, like we had to pull something out of the hat. So different rooms in the house, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I had kitchen, and a lot of people were getting ready, like getting their stuff sketched out and everything, and I just couldn't even figure out what I was going to paint. And we got started, and I think it was like a 1 or 2 hour challenge. And I think I started out with pancakes and a fork with blueberries or something, and
honey. I think there's a bee in it
honey.
too.
And Ellie came in halfway through to do a critique, and she was saying, well, some of these look a bit like grandma art or something. I can't remember what you said, but I kind of felt like she's talking to me. And it got in my head, and then I'm like, back to the drawing board. So I went and got a new piece of canvas or paper. I think it was paper. This was like 4 years ago now.
Yeah. It was in 2021. Isn't that crazy?
And so I'm like, I'm just going to start again. I can't even remember if I started twice. Anyway, I had an hour left, and I started again. And the cameras are coming around me, and I'm like, do you have to, like, right now? And I was just getting so irritated. And I'm like, this was my biggest fear. I'm going to melt down on camera. I'm probably going to cry. I'm going to make the worst painting ever. And anyway, I pulled it together, and I painted macarons that ended up looking like hamburgers.
Oh, we've come full circle.
Well, yeah. And no, I deliberately didn't choose macarons because I'm now scarred from that.
That's right. You were looking at sources and you were like, oh, not macaroons.
Yeah. Anyway, so that they did kind of in the editing make out like I had some beef with Brie Bartz, which I didn't.
Well, you kind of did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, okay, for a minute, she was doing macaroons too or something, and you thought she was
I
copying
think
you?
I just had beef with everyone because I was like, stupid diamond painting challenge. So, anyway, I look back on that fondly now.
Well, I shared the link in the chat if you guys want to watch season 2 of The Outstanding Artist.
Don't share the episode.
See if that challenge eliminated Alannah or not.
They have to commit to the whole thing before they just decide I'm this like crybaby. Yeah.
Yeah, also, season 4, guys, is coming out January. Isn't that exciting?
That's so soon.
So,
oh my gosh.
I'd like to hear in the chat if you have ever watched an episode of Outstanding Artist.
They've already got you beat. People are saying they love it and they can't wait for season 4.
Yes.
Oh, it's next level. It's going to be so good. I can't wait.
Yeah. Alannah makes a return in it.
Yeah.
Is that a spoiler? Is that public knowledge?
I don't know.
I think we can tease things.
Yeah. Honestly, the thing about coming to these lives is that you get spoilers because we've got loose mouths here.
We can't lose mouths here.
For sure.
So some of the previous contestants come back as judges. And it's a really tough gig being a judge.
Yeah, now you know how I feel after 4 seasons of being,
Having to be ruthless.
Yeah.
And it was so hard because like the level of skill was so high, and to have to, some people had to be better than other people. So it's very difficult to
Yeah, there's
be in
no,
that position.
there's no, everybody gets a yellow ribbon.
Nope. I can't tell if I'm making any difference. If I'm just dibble-dabbling and not getting far. Should I stop?
Yeah, wow,
Oh, we're at time.
we're at time. All right, pastels down.
3, 2,
3,
1.
2, 1. Wow, you guys did amazing. These both turned out awesome.
I didn't do any background.
Okay.
It doesn't need it.
This was fun. I'm in right brain land still.
I did not plan on telling that story about the outstanding artist. It was a
So we've talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about, purpose, destiny, jobs you don't like, their misery. Being an artist is not, I think the reason the reason why I wanted to talk about this, and I think why page 68 of The War of Art riles me so, is because I meet a lot of artists who have had a dream in their heart since even when they were little to be an artist. And growing up as a teenager, wanting to be an artist, going and making that choice. Do I go to college? Do I not go to college? Can I go to art school? Oh, I can't go to art school, etc. They want to be an artist. And there's this dream that haunts them, that lives in them. And maybe they've taken a few art classes, or maybe they've dibble-dabbled, but they've never really thrown their whole heart into it, burned the ships, and get rid of plan B and just fully go for it because they believe it's a life of misery. They believe they're signing up for starvation. They believe that they're not just struggling to make ends meet, starvation. That is like primal misery. There's probably nothing more agonizing, really, than starving to death. And that's what we hear our whole lives. Are you going to be a starving artist? Not a hungry artist, not a heart artist in need, or an artist that's a little bit broke.
Yeah.
A starving artist. Like, that's like, who wants that? Nobody wants that. That speaks to like our base brain, our old primal brain. Our subconscious mind hears that, right? And is like, heck no, that is the last thing I want. But why is that dream still live? Why is that desire still there? Why do you still want to be an artist? It's because it's your destiny. It's because that's who you are. It's because that is your purpose. And so when there's just another person telling you what a miserable life it is and how hard it is, it's like, it's not. It is not hard. Working at the Golden Pantry is hard. Commuting hours and hours to get to and from work, that is hard. Doing something you don't like doing, or you don't even agree with what the top management is saying or what corporate is saying to you, and you have to do it anyway because you're stuck and you have to pay your bills and you have no choice, and you can't say, hey, I think this is wrong, I don't want to do it. That is miserable. That is what is truly miserable. And having a narcissistic, crazy boss that rules over you like Ellen DeGeneres or something, that is miserable. Being an artist is not. You get to hold fistful of crayons and make hamburgers that shine in the night and are magical. That is pure joy. Watching your paint swoosh onto the canvas and drip onto the floor, and you're like, I'm an artist, I get to make a mess. That is joy, right? Setting up your studio, opening your box of art supplies and putting them on the shelves, and you can't wait to wake up in the morning to use them. That's joy. Seeing your collectors fall in love with your art and spending lots of money to have your art on their walls, to speak to them every day of their lives, that's joy. To be able to get your ideas on a canvas, see it expressed, and see other people fall in love with it, that is joy. There is, and knowing you didn't leave anything on the table, knowing that you didn't, shrink back in fear, knowing you said yes when others said no, knowing that you went for it, that is joy. That is fulfilling, amazing, out of this world joy. So that's why it makes me mad. And that's why I wanted to do this video, because Life as an artist is hamburgers and brownies, period. End of story. We will see you in the next workshop.